Welcome, Chicago Bears fans. This is Dean with John, and this is Bear With Me Chicago. So today we're going to start out with our pre-draft discussion with some mocks and who I know exactly who they're going to pick, so you can count on this. No, not really. And John's going to give us his views on the draft, and then we're going to look over my picks and kind of talk about them, and then in the post-draft, we'll look and see if I got any of them right. That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
If I got any right, that would say a lot about something. All right. So, John, what are your thoughts on the draft and what the Bears might do? And
Yeah. Well, I know we had talked about the Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles had done some interviews just talking about their approach to the draft. And they kind of said what I feel like everybody says, which is the best player available. And I was just kind of thinking about it. And it's like, well, obviously everyone thinks that whoever they pick is the best player available when they pick them. Yeah, they have to take that into account, and they think it's the best for their team.
And they always are so happy that they got exactly what they want.
Yeah. It just best player available just seems like I think they're trying to say they're going to go. If there's a really good offensive player, they're not going to prioritize defense, but I think you have to prioritize defense. So I know. Yeah, I was curious your thoughts on that.
Well, you wait till you get to my mock draft.
True. I guess we'll figure that out. Okay, that's the first point. Okay. The second is just that the D line is a top priority for me. I think it's really where we struggled, and that's where I would mainly be scouting if I was them. But
and to back that up, I mean, we were at the bottom of the league in stopping the run and sacks. I mean, our D line, with the exception of Sweat, really just didn't get the job done last year. So I agree.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
So this is then a couple kind of random ones that I read when I was reading just different coverage is the value or the depth of the tight end. And I think the tight end position, if we don't want to pay Kmet, eventually we could get another one. It seems like there could be really good value in the tight end position.
So if they don't go by need and they go best player available, you could see one of the top tight ends go. Is what you're saying?
You could. Yeah, I was thinking more of a sleeper.
Okay.
Like they get one who falls.
Okay.
Not necessarily like go out aggressively to get one, just because we have Loveland and Kmet. But the draft is one of the hardest things to predict, which makes it so fun.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone kind of expects to get things wrong, maybe not the experts, but and then the last one is safety is big for me.
Yeah.
Unless this is maybe kind of I hadn't thought of this before, but if they seem to actually have more corners if they're healthy with Frazier and Terrell Smith.
Yep.
So if they come back and they have Gordon, Johnson, Stevenson, and those two guys, if they wanted to convert one of them to safety, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking that.
Yeah, that's the rumor is if they don't get a safety in the draft, they might move Gordon.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, you got to be healthy. You know, you missed 8 or 10 games last year, so you got to have a safety you can count on. So.
Yeah. I guess you're giving away your
no.
Yeah, so those are just 4 thoughts that I wrote down last night as I was felt like a professional watching tape.
Yeah, good.
Those are just 4 quick thoughts. I guess if you don't want to give stuff away, you'll have more to say when we get to who your actual picks are.
Yeah, so you're going to go over who you think they'll take first, right?
Yeah,
or a group, and so we'll see. Then I'll tell you who it actually is going to be.
Okay, yep. So I watched highlights for about 7 guys that it said could be possible first round, and then one was a second round pick. So Zion Young, they said could defensive end from Missouri. They said could be a possible second round. So I watched some of his tape. It's hard. I'm not a scout, so
yeah, sure.
But he looked like he looked different than the guys, I will say, that were defensive ends in these other defensive ends that I watched.
Okay.
So,
I've heard him mock to the Bears quite a bit too.
Yeah. So the overall, well, I guess I don't want to say what consensus is. First player I watched was Peter Woods from Clemson, defensive tackle. These are just, it sounds funny to say. I don't actually know football that well in terms of coaching, but he does have a quick first step, which just sounds like a funny phrase from a non-professional.
Yeah.
And then they line him up inside and outside, and he seems to have some skills there. And then high motor, seems to chase down after a play doesn't go well. When the play breaks down, he's like fully going after the quarterback, even when he's initially blocked, which was something I read to look out for when I was watching the highlights. The second one is TJ Parker. I believe he's a defensive end from Clemson, or a defensive tackle. He had good hands to, like, when the runners, he would get them with one hand and they wouldn't be able to get out. So that was, yeah, very strong. And then in open chases, he was surprisingly fast for his size. So those are just a couple thoughts for TJ Parker. Caden Proctor from Alabama, the offensive tackle. I felt like it was hard to judge. I don't, scouting offensive tackles is hard,
Right.
but he fit the part. I wrote down he looks the part. He really bullies guys with his hands, pushes them. Just, he really looks like a stud, and surprisingly quick for outside blocking. But the one downside is he looks really winded after.
Yeah.
So if he gets out in the open,
Yeah.
he's going all in, but he's gonna be tired.
Yeah.
So
I'll pause you for a minute.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny, all of us as fans, we're always like, well, I'm not a coach. I wasn't a professional football player or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you watch, the pros and the coaches and everything, they're like, well, you don't understand because you didn't play or whatever. And then later on, like, you'll look at a player and you'll go, man, they just get run over or whatever. When you've watched decades of football games,
Yeah.
even though they want you to think you don't know anything, you
Yeah.
know a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what your eye tells you. Does it
Yeah.
pass the eye test or not? Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think when I was watching highlights, it seemed like they started to kind of blend together.
Yeah.
If you watch enough highlights.
Yeah.
But I mean, I obviously have my opinion, so
Yeah.
I'm obviously making judgment calls as I watch them.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think there may be more value to what you think than you realize.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
It felt funny, like saying, quick first step.
Yeah.
Or
That's what the coach.
but the coaches, yeah.
They never say, boy, he's slow.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about him. He's
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of, Caden McDonald, defensive tackle for Ohio State, if there's someone who's slow, he makes up for it with size. He was, everyone says this, but he's the best run defender, hypothetically, in the draft.
Yeah.
He's like a nose tackle, or traditional nose tackle position.
And the Bears didn't re-sign Billups, right?
Yeah.
So they've got a need for that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big guy. And then, but he is, for his size, he doesn't pop out as like a speedster, but
Yeah.
For his size, there's a quickness, not necessarily extended. And then high energy and celebration for Caden McDonald, could be a pump up, motivate the other players, team leader kind of guy.
Yeah.
It seems like he did that at Ohio State when they need it. And then the cool thing was he gets forced fumbles and he even recovers them. So he had some pretty cool highlights.
So he's got hustle. That's a hustle indicator a lot of times.
Yeah. That was probably one of the more surprising guys, just based on the highlights.
Yeah.
And then Dylan Thieneman, safety from Oregon. I've heard, and maybe you read this too, but people are saying he might not be at 25. I think he's gotten mocked a lot at like 18 or so.
Okay.
But highlights look good, in terms of safeties, angles, tackling. He had really cool interceptions that were like toe touch or toe tap interceptions. That were pretty cool.
Yeah. So
if he's there,
extremely skilled. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a need. So
Yeah. And then Zion Young again. I guess just it would be fun to watch. He tracks the ball really well for, like, if it gets batted in the air, he'll track it well for, try to get an interception. That's fun. And then the last player was Keldrick Folk. He's a defensive, and he would be a guy that if they wanted to trade up for him, I would be happy if we were able to get a good. He's the only player I watch that it's like he's not going to be at 25.
Yeah.
But if Ryan Poles likes him based on the tape, it was like, okay, this guy looks like he's the defensive end that we really need. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were
Okay, they're your first round.
those are the as far as 25. There might be a 25 and except for the last one we would trade up. So.
Okay, well, now I'll tell you who they're going to pick. It's really nice to hear those.
Yeah. All right.
So as John said, they pick at 25, and I believe they're going to take Caden Proctor, offensive tackle from Alabama. Now, I'm assuming he falls that far, right? So you mentioned Caden, you talked about him a lot. The notes I had on him, he's only 21 years old.
Wow.
Right. So I like guys that are young because that gives them time to grow. Right.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He played left tackle at Alabama for 3 years, 3-year
Wow.
starter at Alabama. So, I mean, one thing you mentioned, like Ohio State players, Alabama, some of these top tier schools, I mean, they're playing the best players in college football, right, against them. So I think there's a big advantage to that. They're playing against the best, so they would be more likely to step into the NFL and be able to hold their own at least. In addition to that, just some of the other things about him, he was a 3-year starter. He weighs 358 pounds. I think he's 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", right around there, big man. And this is there's the old saying that the draft is the dances with the elephants, is what it said, because there's a lot of big men that get drafted. He's one of them. He's one of the big ones. And so there's,
4-4.
Yeah. So no, not quite. Not quite a 4-4. Anyway, but on the downside, it says he needs technique work. But last year he led Alabama in snaps. So he was on the field more than any other player for Alabama last year, and a 3-year starter. To me, if he's available, as they say, you go running to the podium to hand in they don't do it that way anymore. They used to. If he's available, I'm taking him. They have a need there. Like a lot of guys think Trapillo, they're like, oh man, we got our left tackle. Ozzie got better and he's just great. Well, he may not play next year, right?
Yeah.
Because of injuries. So you may need somebody, for the year to fill in. And I think they could do a lot worse than this kid, Caden Proctor. So that's my first pick.
Yeah.
In the NFL. So what do you think about that?
I love it. If he is there, I would say between him and if the Inman falls, but I am with you that I would rather go tackle than safety. Just maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems like if we don't solve the pass rush, maybe this is just overall thoughts in the draft, but if we don't solve the pass rush and we don't, obviously blocking, the two lines are just my own personal prioritization. And then safeties seem to do well when the line is going after the quarterback, and then protecting is, as Bears fans, protecting the quarterback has been, we think 2 years ago.
That's the way to see your season go down the toilet, so to speak, is if your quarterback gets hurt from the blind side, right? There's a reason why blind side left tackle positions are so key. So in my mind, if you end up drafting him and then Trapillo comes back, okay, you can leave him there, or you can move Trapillo around, have him play another tackle position or a guard. I mean, it'd be great. Put him as a guard, because somebody always gets hurt, even though last year hardly anybody got hurt on their O-line. But that's really rare. That's rare.
Besides Trapillo at the end.
Well, true. The game,
all season,
last game. That's true. For the most part, though, they were healthy, and that's unlikely 2 years in a row. So I think this would give them some depth.
Yeah. As far as the three most likely that it based on mock drafts, it has. So it doesn't have Proctor. As far as the mock drafts, they say Peter Woods is the most likely. Emmanuel McNeil Warren safety. is second, and then Thieneman safety. So based on mock drafts, I think people are really just thinking the Bears need safeties.
Okay.
Or maybe that's what people are all saying, and everyone's kind of got that in mind.
Okay.
But I would rather, like we said.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if he drops there, you go get him. Maybe even trade up and get him. It depends on how close. If you're at 20 and he hasn't gone yet, do you say, hey, I'll give you a third rounder, let me move up 3 or 4 slots? I don't know. Anyway, so who have you got for their second pick, which is pick 57?
Okay. Well, I don't.
Well, who's in that range?
Oh, okay. Well, don't you want to give yours first, and I say if I?
No, I want to hear who.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then I'll tell you who's right.
All right. Yeah. So AJ Halsey, safety. I don't know if I'm saying
out of LSU,
right? Out of LSU. There's R. Mason Thomas. He's an edge from Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then Traden Stukes is a safety from Arizona. So
really, so you're looking safety and
they're
edge
really predicting safety. Yeah, and then edge is the second. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not going to do any of those guys. So actually, I have got them. This is a little. You're going to laugh at me a little bit. No, I'm not on this one, but you'll laugh at me on the next one.
Okay.
I've got Akeem Mesidor, who's the edge from Miami, coming out. So Akeem is 25 years old. Now that's the negative, and that's why my note where his age may help him drop to the Bears, because teams may not want to draft an older player, because you get. You're essentially getting them for a max of 5 years, the way the contracts work. Well, at the end of that, he's going to be 30 years old.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting him for a short period rather than hoping you can use him long term. So I'm thinking that may let him drop.
Yeah.
He's disruptive and he's really solid against the run. He had 12 and a half sacks in 2025.
Wow.
So getting him at 57 would be a coup, I admit. But it's possible because of his age and that he may, fall that far. I think he fits the edge. So we all know Dennis Allen, their defensive coordinator. He loves tall edge rushers that can also play the run. So he fits the Dennis Allen quote stereotype. So I think if he's there, I think that's another one they're going to go, that's the guy we wanted all along, and it doesn't matter how old he is, and But I feel like Akeem Mesidor is going to be their pick at 57. So I don't know. Did you have anything different for the 60 pick, which is also a second round, or no?
Yeah, it has 3 names here. Let me make sure I get this out of the way. It has Grayson Halton, defensive line, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm not sure what position, if he's end or maybe he goes between tackle and end. They have Malik Muhammad, cornerback from Texas, and then Traden Stukes, safety.
Safety again. You want him to get a safety.
So it's safety. These are just the most mocked players to us at these positions.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to pick, but in terms of statistically, this one, I mean, I like these guys.
Okay. So well, let me tell you who they're gonna pick. Okay, and you're gonna like this too, even though you're gonna go, there's no way that's happening. I thought that. Now, remember, this is the 60th pick, right? So you're essentially at the bottom of the second round now, right? I said that the other safety that you mentioned, whose name I can't say, he's going to be gone. But I am predicting that either at the 57th pick, if Mesidor is not there, but let's say they take Mesidor, I'm saying they will, and at 60, I'm saying they're going to take Emmanuel McNeil Warren, who's the safety from Toledo, who you mentioned already. The only extra notes I have on him he's 22 years old. He has impressive speed and agility. He's not. Some people were saying he might be the first or second safety drafted. So, when you hear that, you're like, okay, he's not going to be there. But if he's there at 57 or if he's there at 60, I think they're going to take him because they need a safety. And you brought that up, right? They definitely need a safety. There was one other guy that you mentioned earlier from was it ASU? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, the Halsey guy from LSU. I'm sorry, LSU. That's the other one. If they don't take If
Yeah.
if McNeil Warren is gone, I could see them taking Halsey there as well. From everything I read about him, the thing that Allen really likes in his edges, as I mentioned, is he likes size and being able to set the edge on the run.
Yeah.
And what they're really talked about, and Ben Johnson talked about it, Dennis Allen's mentioned it, they need more speed, right? So I think anybody they take in the defensive backfield or a linebacker, I think they got to be faster, because I think they felt like they were too slow last year. Now they did draft the other linebacker, I can't remember his name, but he didn't play very much, got hurt. They drafted him for speed. So there's an example. I think they took him in the 4th round. So they really value speed. Hippolyte, yeah. Very good. Yeah. So anyway, I'm saying they're going to take McNeil Warren at safety at 60. I'm sure you don't think he'll be there, but if he is,
I like the optimism.
Yeah,
we would be very happy.
The foolish optimism. Yeah. So I've got them taken. They've taken Proctor, they've taken Messidor, they've taken McNeil Warren, and everybody's saying they have the draft. They won the draft already.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be that would be pretty awesome.
So now we're moving to the 3rd round.
Okay.
89.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking?
So 89 consensus has Skylar Bell, wide receiver from UConn.
Oh, the offense.
So yeah.
Ben Johnson effect.
Yeah. Actually, all 3 of these are offense. So
okay.
Connor Liu is interior offensive line from Auburn, probably in center, I would assume. And then Caleb Tiernan is a tackle from Northwestern.
I saw him mocked as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That one may end up biting me. I should have probably picked him, because I saw that mock as well.
Well, tell me who it actually.
Okay. Well,
tell me who's really.
All right. So I struggled with this one. I'm taking this as a value pick. So this is the 89th pick. So we're near the bottom of the 3rd round. I said that Caleb Banks, who's defensive tackle for Florida, is still going to be there. Now you might say, well, why would he drop? Well, first of all, his profile, he's 23 years old. He is tall, strong, and fast, which they like. He is disruptive. Great statistics, but his senior year he was hurt and out most of the year. So I'm hoping due to injuries he falls, right? So you don't like drafting guys injured in the 1st and 2nd round. I'm hoping in the 3rd round now that they're at 89 and he's still there because he's hurt. It was hurt most of the year, and 5th year senior type deal, and so that they end up getting him. So Caleb Banks, I actually think they're going to get a D tackle. Now I did hear, I was listening on a couple of the different radio shows, and they were saying, well, they may not even take a D tackle because they've still got Shamar Turner coming back, who was hurt. They've got the other couple,
Dexter, and then
Javon Dexter, and they've also got
the free agency guy.
Yeah, a couple free agents that they signed.
Okay.
I can't remember, but anyway, most fans know. So anyway, they've got multiple defensive tackles already. So they're like, and then they signed a couple in free agency, right? They signed, like, I think Streeter or a couple other guys they signed in free agency. So, it's like, boy, they got a lot of defensive tackles. Why would they waste a draft pick? Well, I think they would, because Caleb Banks is that good before his senior year. So I think they're still going to take one. Those free agents are not big financial commitment free agents this year. So if one of the free agents can't make the team because Banks looks so good, that's a win. So I'm saying 3rd round they take Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. What else?
Anything on the deal? I'm happy with it.
Okay, 129 now.
Okay.
Who have you got at
129?
That I should.
Yeah. 3 of the wrong answers.
Okay.
Unless you got Mason Rieger, edge for Wisconsin. Josh Cameron, wide receiver for Baylor. And then another safety, Jason Kilgore, safety from South Carolina.
You're going to get a safety out of this draft.
Yeah, there's another. Yeah, there is. Apparently, I'm contradicting what I said earlier when it's not as important, but those are who people think we're going for.
They need a safety. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Well, I just want to tell you, nice try.
Yeah. No, so I also realized I'm not reading your paper.
Yeah, I know you're not. I know. Yeah. So no, I didn't take any of those guys. So this is the 129th pick. So now we're at the bottom of the 4th round. They got this pick from the Rams. I don't know how they got it. I forgot who they traded the Rams. But anyway, And I finally have them taking a center. And this is Logan Jones, who's center out of Iowa. He's 24 years old, really strong hands, technique. He works well with the Bears blocking scheme because he's pretty quick, even though we know these guys aren't super quick. But as an offensive lineman, he's pretty quick.
Nice.
He won the Remington Award, which is the award given to the nation's top center. He's from Iowa, who has a history of putting out good offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And he's only given up one sack over the last 2 years.
Wow.
And playing in the Big Ten. So and the Big Ten, you got Ohio State, you got Penn State, you got a lot of good teams in the Big Ten now, especially since a lot of the West Coast teams have come in. So I just feel like over 2 years, if you've only given up one sack, even if you're a little bit light, these guys can eat and put on weight. But he's already strong. If they could get Logan Jones out of Iowa, because they've only signed the center free agent for 1 year, I would call that a win. So I'm saying they're taking Logan Jones, center out of Iowa, as their 129th pick. With a fourth round, that leaves them 2 seventh-round picks, which might be a little bit more challenging to
predict.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. These sound great.
Yeah.
In theory,
I want to draft.
Yeah. I would be very happy. So then we have 239. Is that the next one?
Yes, sir.
239. Okay. So here we have David Gusta, defensive tackle from Kentucky.
Okay.
Lorenzo Styles, cornerback from Ohio State. Toriano Pride Jr., cornerback from Missouri. So they have us predicting cornerbacks.
Okay. So at 239, I did not take a quarterback, but our next pick is 241, and I did. We'll tell you about that in a minute. So at 239, So at 239, I have them taking someone you probably thought of. His name is Caleb Elarms-Orr. Caleb Elarms-Orr. He's a linebacker from TCU. He's 23 years old. He's known for his speed and motor, and he had 3 games against top-tier competition of 15-plus tackles.
Wow.
So that gives you an idea of his speed. TCU plays a good schedule, too. So this is, once again, I'm going for speed. I'm thinking I'm not drafting anybody back there unless they're fast. So we're going to take him at 239, Caleb Elarms-Orr. Sorry, I butchered your name. And then at our last pick, 241, and I have a feeling, to be honest with you, knowing the Bears, they're probably going to trade back at least once. Yeah. It seems like every draft Poles has been in, he's tried to trade back. At least one time in middle rounds or so forth, try to get more picks to, see if they can win on those. But finally, and I'm not kind of on the same track with you here, I think they need a corner, right? So I was a little concerned last year with their corners. I know you went over who they still have.
Yeah, that's best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, they had some injuries, so a little concerned. So I ended up, I stayed close to home. And I chose somebody from Indiana University, D'Angelo Pons, who's 21 years old. He was a 2-year starter in Indiana. He's small, supposedly 5'10", but he is very fast, very hard-nosed, got a lot of speed, and the Bears want that, as I've said like 25 times now. So they're going to end up taking a linebacker with 239, and for 241, I think they're going to take a cornerback. And so I think that'll give them they'll win the draft.
Yeah.
It will have been won. And so what do you think about that?
So we have here are the 3 consensus. We have Jack Kelly, a linebacker from BYU, who I'm not very familiar with. Jeremiah Wright, interior offensive line from Auburn, and then Eli Heidenreich, running back from Navy.
Okay.
So, running back.
Now that's interesting because I've heard one of the mocks was they would take the second running back from Notre Dame
behind
Love. They kind of did a similar thing with Ohio State 2 or 3 years ago. With Texas, the running back who's been a little bit out of favor the last couple of years due to injuries.
Johnson.
Yeah, he was
behind Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson, they were like, oh. if Bijan Robinson wasn't there, he would be amazing.
Yeah.
So I've seen that mocked where they're saying, you know what, I think he's still averaged 5 or 6 yards a carry in limited action, but they're like, if he slipped, knowing the Bears and Ben Johnson, and also knowing they got one running back that's coming out of contract next year, might not be a bad idea. But I kind of hate to see them waste picks on running backs because it seems like you can always get a good running back to fill in. Even some of the guys we got last year when there were injuries, they were like really good.
Wow. Yeah.
So anyway, that was interesting that you had running back down there because that could be a surprise pick. I mean, as you look at these picks, the only offensive player I took, if you consider offense, is the center. Yeah, so as I was saying, John, I've only got one offensive guy who's the center out of Iowa, and it's probably unlikely that we'll go through every draft pick and we won't get a wide receiver. But maybe they'll sign a lot of free agents. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. Like last year, Ben Johnson was like drafting offense all over the place, and it really worked out well.
Yeah.
So will he do defense this year and really rely on Dennis Allen, or is he going to mix in, hey, I need a tight end, like you said, or hey, I need a running back? I mean, those are the two likeliest positions that I could see them adding someone. So it'll be interesting to see. So we will see. We'll record these, and we'll take a look back and see how silly we were.
Yeah,
it would kind of be fun for us to do a draft show. Where we're watching the draft and kind of commenting on it. So
that would be
we'll
fun.
do that. If you fans think that that's something you'd like to see or like us not to do, put it in the comments. And I want to thank John for doing this pre-draft show with me. And I'm excited. I think it's in 2 weeks in Pittsburgh, right? I'm pretty sure the draft is. So we'll definitely be watching that, commenting on it together. So let us know what you think. Let us know who we missed. Let us know how foolish I was and how smart John was. Or
I was just relaying information.
Yeah. And I know we never played and we never coached, but boy, we sure have watched a lot of football.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few decades of it. So I'm hoping that the Bears could get 2 or 3 of these guys anyway, or somebody better. So we shall see. Hopefully we can depend on Ben Johnson again.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. So for Ben Johnson, for John and myself, I want to thank you for joining Bear With Me Chicago, and appreciate your comments, sharing the video, and supporting our channel. Thank you.
Yeah. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Bear with me, Chicago.